Today, we're talking about an amazing agreement with nature that was made during the time of Atlantis that has continued to this time. Now, I want you to understand that at that time, which was a long, long time ago, some people think that Atlantis, this is during the time Atlantis existed. According to Plato, it seems as if Atlantis was gone like 9,000, 12,000 years ago. But this is before that time, even. So some people say Atlantis existed 200,000 years. Some people say it existed 2 million years. Think of how long that is compared to how long the United States has existed from 1492, or the Europeans in North America. 1492, Columbus sailed the blue, so till now, it's like more than 500 years. That is really tiny compared to, say, 200,000 years. And long at the beginning of Atlantis, things were very different than they were at the end. And to understand how this agreement with nature worked in Atlantis, I want you to think of two streams. The one stream is of the eternal light beings. That's us. We are beings that are citizens of the universe, can travel anywhere in the universe, and are made in the image of God. That's us. Here, on the other hand, is Earth and the solar system. And it has its own rules coming from the creator or from the Big Bang or whatever you want to call it. This is the natural kingdom on Earth, and it's got its own stream going this way. Now, this stream, in its essence, remains the same always. This stream goes through evolution. And so our science deals with this stream's evolution. And of course, they're especially interested in the evolution of primates that led up to our type of primate, which is where we are now. The way I see it, we're now a light being with a primate mixed together. And what we're going to talk about is when this mixture together occurred long ago in Atlantis. So this story is something that the mystics and the psychics, such as Edgar Cayce, Madame Blavatsky, Rudolf Steiner, talk about, and the change that occurred over this long time to get to a human being now is what they call the root races, which is a really weird word, especially considering today in the US, when race has all this connotation of skin color and all this stuff. But when this original word of root races was made, it referred to, maybe a better word would be prototype. So at the beginning, and this is the history, now we're going to take the Earth and its evolution out of the picture just for a minute. These are the light beings who are made in the image of the Creator. So they are light, they are eternal, and they are vibrational beings. And they travel the universe. And like I said, they live forever. So they are on an exploration mission and they come to Earth. And when they come to Earth, they explore, because they are a vibrational being, they explore vibrationally, meaning that they mix with different things on Earth. So they don't experience the Earth the way we do, because we are in a body that uses sensors. Yes, this is the correct hand for this. In this kind of body, we use sensors like our eyes, our nose, our ears, our mouth, and our skin to understand our world. But a pure light being understands this world just purely by mixing with vibrations. They don't understand anything but vibrations. And when they came to the earth, they were exploring. And I myself was in a group that was on a rescue mission to find people like us. We were from the star system Arcturus, and we were coming here to look for fellow Arcturians who seemed to be lost and weren't coming home. And I guess I'm getting off into a rabbit hole. I don't mean to be doing that. I'm sorry. Let me get back to how we made this agreement with nature. But this is the background story. Some of us, when we came to Earth, and I was one of them, we made a mistake. And instead of exploring, we got caught here in the physical. And in fact, all of us here on Earth are caught in the physical. We're all, this way I see things, we're all eternal light beings, and we came to Earth, and it's not so much a bad thing. We're used to merging to explore things as a vibrational being, and some of us just merged too long and got caught here. So when the light being got caught, at first, instead of being pure light, it now was more like a thought form. So it's in a physical world, and this, the light being, is like the first root race, according to these mystics. And then this thought form, the Edgar Cayce readings, America's psychic Edgar Cayce, he said that the Atlanteans were thought people. I remember being a thought person. I called myself a wisp of smoke. But so now we're here, the earth, this is this hand, it exists, but we're not meshed with it yet. We're just exploring, and we see things as we approach things through thought. And with thought, we can communicate with the existing creatures on Earth. And remember, last week I talked about how we could sort of talk with trees, and then the trees would grow in such a way that they would protect us. They would make a nice home. We would sort of be with the trees, involved with the trees. Well, and I had mentioned that this young woman from Belgium had written to me, and she had said that she remembered communicating with dolphins in Atlantis, and the dolphins would take messages from one place to another. So we are now talking about what the mystics call the third root race. And this is when we began to mix closer with the existing creatures in the physical on Earth. And in mixing with these creatures, we weren't stuck in them, but we would go in and out. Anyway, I, as a light being, I've told you before, I believe, that I was in three different animals at once. And one was a scientist who worked with the crystal in the tower that provided power for Atlantis. The other one was a young mother, and she was the one that was destroyed by the boulders coming down when Atlantis was breaking up. And then the third one was this pixie-faced frog being. So now I'm using the pixie-faced frog being to explain how we were able to have an agreement with the natural kingdom that vibrations from one being, like a primate, the pixie face was a primate type face, and then the body was a frog. And this time of these mixtures, I was an androgynous being. This is what's called the third root race. And this time of the mixtures in our memory is immortalized in these mythological creatures, such as mermaids, such as centaurs, half man, half horse, satyrs, half man, a face of a man and a body of a goat, or the hind quarters of a goat. And there were many more. Many of the images in the tombs, in Pharaoh's tombs, are of these mixtures. There's sometimes like a bird with a man's face, or a man with a bird's face. There's many of them in the Pharaoh's tombs. And these, according to my memories, are that time of the mixtures, or the third root race. Now, the problem is that we got stuck, and I am sorry, because I promised this is only going to be about 10 minutes, and I'm past 10 minutes already, but I just want to finish by saying the problem was that many of us got caught in the physical, in these mixtures of beings, and could not get their light being free. So that was a problem. And they had to create at that time something that would help us so that we wouldn't be caught here on earth forever. And the creation that we made with the agreement of the nature kingdom was to mix this evolving primate here on this side. We have the evolution of creatures on earth. And this is what scientists study. And of course, we hear all about how primates are evolving until we have Homo sapiens, but it goes through, there's Neanderthals, Denisovans, there are Homo erectus, there are Cro-Magnon, there are all these different Australopithecus, all of these different versions of primates, until we get to this naked ape, which is man. And that is the primate long ago in Atlantis that they chose to mix the light being with. So there was an agreement made between the nature kingdom, which was the primate, and the light being to make a human being. And the big advantage of that mixture is that those light beings that were now caught in the physical material world, that couldn't get free, once they were mixed with these primates, with them, there was death. So the light being got to be less caught, and the light being was on the road to getting free of being stuck here in the physical material world. Well, I've probably blown your mind, or else you're going, that is so crazy. And I got to tell you, when all of these memories turned up in my hypnosis session, and remember, I went there only to lose weight, and all this information turned up, and I would have totally considered myself insane, except there were these writings of these psychics and mystics that made me feel better. And I went to ruins in Yucatan and Egypt, to the Pharaoh's tombs, and I looked at the actual paintings, I looked at the actual sculptures, and then I started thinking, well, maybe what I'm remembering is not so crazy. In any case, I hope that you've benefited from this, and if you've enjoyed it, please tap that like button down there. Now, next week, I am going to start a new series, and it's going to be about how to find your past lives without hypnosis. And if you consider that there's this effect or memory that we carry from past lives, even if you don't remember your past lives, you will find that there are indications in your present lifetime that give you clues as to what your past lives were. So if you're curious about your past lives and don't want to go to a hypnotherapist, or just thinking about it, you might find this series interesting. And next week, which is going to be Tuesday, April 4th. It's going to be 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The first episode of that series is what are the benefits of knowing past lives? So that'll be the first episode on Tuesday, March. Oh my goodness, April. That'll be on Tuesday, April 4th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same time, same station. See you then. And also in 2 days' time, on Thursday, March 30th, I'll be doing my usual Thursday live stream. It's going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And this topic is a continuation of my memories of Atlantis. And this one is called Falling into the Serpent's Mouth, my scariest memory of Atlantis. So I've enjoyed being with you here today, and I look forward to talking with you Thursday in 2 days or next week on Tuesday. All the best. Toodaloo. Bye-bye.